Okay. Sherry, if I look at all the little buttons and flashes and banners on my screen right now, we are live. We are
Yay.
live already. How is your Wednesday? Today is Wednesday, September 29th.
And it's National Coffee Day.
Oh, coffee day. Guess what? I brought coffee today just for
I
you.
know,
I
I
brought
knew
my
you had
coffee.
coffee, and I got a brand new coffee cup from a friend of mine. So I have it. Look at
All
Miss Little
right.
Minnie. I'm ready. And
We're
today's
ready.
National Coffee Day, in case people
National
need to
Coffee
know.
Day. So,
And it's Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. So I think we're supposed to have coffee.
what better way? Well, if you put tea in your cup, that's okay. You're still more than welcome. And you could become my best friend. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach, TA. It is time to stop those lies of negative self talk by changing your perspective, which will reveal possibilities, opening up pathways onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. And my co host, again, the amazing Sherry Berger.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so glad to actually be here this morning. Last week we had a lot of technical difficulties. Couldn't see me. I'm actually here this morning. I was there last week too, but I'm being funny. Anyway, I am Sherry Berger. I am here to there consulting, and we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and your finances because we help you. Our mission is to help you create the life and business that you deserve. And I'm really, really excited because today we are going to talk about why not start now? Why not get some of those things in order now? Last week, what did we talk about? We talked about what
We
did we
talked
talk
about,
about last week? How we had the steps of what we wanted to do, right? What we need
right.
to do more of and what we need to do less of. And today we're going to talk about why. Why are you not starting now? So what do you need to do? What obstacles, what actions do you need to put in place? What are some of your big goals that you have? Do you know that October 1st is actually fourth quarter? So we're fixing to go right. Fixin's not a good saying, but we're going right into the fourth quarter right now. So why have you not started? And what do you need to start so that we can finish this year strong? So what is something that you're working on, Terry Ann?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have an international conference this weekend that I'm serving behind the scenes on. I'm putting together another presentation on how to do Zoom. I'm co-hosting that with someone else later this month. Plus all of my regular keeping up with doing gratitude, my talking with my own clients, keeping busy. But the goal being at the end of the year that I can so that I can personally feel that there is some traction in my life. Sometimes I feel like the wheels are spinning, but I'm not moving anywhere. So that's what I like about today's topic. How do I get those wheels from spinning to actually moving me?
I call that the hamster and the wheel syndrome, right? We get those
Yes.
hamster and the wheel syndromes where we're not taking action and we're not moving forward. So I've been working really, really hard. My book is 7 chapters long, and I have 6 of the rough draft reworked, and
Yep.
I'm working on reworking chapter 7. But you know how I've gotten this done is back in July, I finally got upset and went, you know what? So I pulled a team together and I'm getting it done. That's sometimes what we have to do though, right? Is say what action steps do we need to take? What do we need? What resources? What things are holding us back? So I have a whole team helping me and I'm getting my book done. And it will be done by the end of the year, but it probably will not be launched till the first of the year because surprisingly, it's on mindset, goal setting, all those fun things. So look for my book after the
Mm-hmm.
first year, not trying to make a sales pitch, but that's one of my big, big goals. And one of my other big goals is, I'm not unhealthy, but I am because I'm overweight, right? And I don't want health problems. So I need to get my health back on track. And actually, I'm working on that. I'm moving slow progress of doing that. I've got my plantar fasciitis under control, those type things. But now, guess what? Starting Monday, I'm this week, I've been putting together a team and I'm going to have a team. And on Monday, I'm hitting the road, to start losing some weight and, eat healthier, exercise, those type things. So sometimes that's what we have to do. We have to decide what we want, and then we have to find those resources that we need, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this morning, Terry Ann, you shared with me that you were doing your Bible study and you had
Mm-hmm.
a aha moment. What was that great thing that you heard in your Bible study this morning?
Oh, it was I loved this comment, and I felt it was so true. A lot of us have great ideas in the shower, but very few step out, dry off, and go put it into action.
See, I
And it
love that.
reminded me because
You
I know
actually need
this
to write that in the comments. That's so good, Terry Ann. I was just like, that was so cool.
that happens so often. Especially in the shower, I get all these great ideas, but it seems like when I dry off, I wipe them away. I wipe the ideas away, and okay, I'll take care of it later. No, get out and do something. It's kind of like we were talking earlier, and I said, it's kind of like you've got the blueprints. That's what we've been talking about all along. We've been putting the blueprints together. What do I need to do? What do I not need to do? Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff, it's set out. Here's my action plan. But as long as the blueprints are just sitting on the table and you're not doing anything, that house isn't being built. So what's it going to take to do the action? And right, the biggest thing that holds me back is fear.
Fear holds you back a lot, which is what chapter
Yes.
7 is going to be talking about more in my book, right? Overcoming that. But I want to talk about the 4 people that we need in our life. You need friends, right? Not acquaintances, associates. You need friends, real close friends. But you also need your coaches. You need your mentors, and you need those cheerleaders. And so sometimes to take action, we need to worry about who are we surrounding ourselves with? What team are we putting together to get those results?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, Terry Ann, but I always work with coaches and I always work with mentors. So I have my own, I'm a coach, but I have my own coaches. I think you should always get coaches and mentors in your life so that you can, what is it called? Get your health in order, get your finances in order. What are the other things that people always want to do, but they don't, they don't put the support or get the resources that they need.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it resource up. Start
Ooh, I like
figuring
that.
out who you need. What do you need? What are those obstacles? If it's fear, do we need to do affirmations every morning? Do we need to be more in our scripture? What do you need to overcome fear? Do you know how much in the Bible that Jesus talks about fear? Right? Fear not. And yet we fear, because fear is a big obstacle that gets in people's ways. But
the
what
thing
was that
about
fear that you, maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but fear, FEAR, can be, what is it called? I'm saying when you turn it into a positive.
yes.
If we
I'll have
can't
to
think
think
of
for
it
a minute.
right now, I might have to leave it in the comments later. But I like it because it's faith. I don't know. Now I'm having.
I don't remember. Yeah, there's a couple of acronyms on it that, and all of a sudden my mind is blank. All of a sudden,
mine
I
is
can't remember
too.
what it
But
is.
I was thinking in the middle of it, if you turn fear into a positive by doing it into that FEAR thing that people have,
right,
that move you forward. But then also sometimes you need to look at what are you fearful of? What would be a fear that would be holding you back, Terry Ann?
Well, actually, there's 2, because the first thought anybody has, and my first thought is, well, what if I fail? But there's also that fear of, what if I succeed? What if I fail? Oh my gosh, I can just hear it now. There she goes. She's just doing something else. It's not going to work. Why do you even bother? The last time was another failure, blah, blah, blah. But then there's also the, what if I succeed? Okay, if this goes well, people are going to have more expectations of me. If this goes well and it works out, then I'm going to have to work more hours. I'm going to have to be more creative. I'm going to have to start doing this, doing that. People will start having expectations of me. So it's not just a fear of failure. It's also the fear of success.
But what if we wrote down all those fears of failure, for instance, and failure is not failure. I always like to say the Wright brothers, when they learned how to build a plane, they didn't fail. They found out how many different ways it wasn't going to work out, but they never gave up. And by learning that you can't do this, I guess you call that failure, then you know to maybe try this instead, right? And you're, of course, you do a lot with IT, and I know that you get in there and you never fail. You just keep wanting to beat the challenge. That's what you do. You look at it as a challenge. Well, what if we did that in other areas of our life? You know what? I've been trying to lose weight and I've eaten salads for a week. Oh God, I'm not doing that, but whatever. But anyway, I've eaten salads, but what if I'm not getting enough protein? What if I'm doing some good things, but I need to add more ideas? And so that's what failure is. Like Pam just said, failure is learning opportunity. And so if we look at it that way, in success, people are scared of success. So what if we start envisioning? What's that going to look like when your business, Terry Ann, takes off and you have bigger expectations and you have to maybe, I don't know, hire more people or right? But you were talking about Bible's devotion this morning, and I loved when you were talking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why I love Terry Ann. She's going to start with her Bible study like we should, right? But you're talking about Bible study. How much are you not trusting God? Like right now, I'm writing my book and people are asking me so many questions. It's crazy. What's the title of your book? What are they asking me? Do you have your book cover? Do you know how you're going to publish it? Do you know this? Do you know? And I go, you know what I know? And people go, what do you know? That you eat it one bite at a time. And then you find the support and help and what you need along the way as you move forward in what that great. I mean, writing a book is difficult. Terry Ann, you've written how many? 2? 3. You've written 2? Terry Ann's written 2 books, and I've talked to other friends. And when I say, oh my gosh, writing a book is difficult. The funny thing is I was at Abundance Mindset or something conference, and we took boards, and I literally wrote that. Writing a book is difficult. And then I broke the board, but it's more breaking it in your mind psychologically, right?
Oh, I like that.
And after I broke the board, which I think it's still sitting over here, I wish I had it right here, right now. But after I broke that board, I go, okay, now my excuse is out of the way. But now I have to figure out how to resource up. I got to figure out how am I going to do this? I got to figure out, right? So once you say losing weight is hard, is it really hard to do? It's not hard unless you say losing weight is hard. Or saying, I'm going to get more healthy. And when I eat the right food, I feel better. So the more I eat the right food, the less I'm going to have brain fog, or the less I'm going to have, you change what your mindset is or your fear in that. Oh my God, I'm scared that if I decide that I'm going to lose weight, I can never eat a brownie again in my life. That's not going to happen. So that's realistic, right?
Right.
I'm afraid if I write a book that there might be some spelling errors in it. Oh my gosh. So it's all about changing. Why are you afraid of failure, and why are you afraid to succeed? And like Pam said, mindset is everything. Mindset is what we got to refocus in doing this. Is what is. So if you did a brain dump, I like to call them brain dumps, right? If you do a brain dump of everything that you're scared of failing, and you do everything you're scared of succeeding, then you can look and how can I turn those into a positive? But do you want me to tell you this? We're talking about why not start now? If you're just sitting there and you're not doing what you say you want to do, you're failing by default.
Ooh.
You're making a choice to choose nothing. So therefore you're failing. So what did you say, Terry Ann? And I know we all feel this way. We're like, if I try to write a book and I don't do a good job and it doesn't come out that great, other people are going to say, oh my gosh, look what she did. She's such a failure. If I sit here and I talk about it and I never take action, guess what? The same people are going to go, yeah, she's been talking about that for years. She's never going to lose weight. She's never going to write a book. She's never going to, you see what I'm saying?
And you know what I noticed in both of those descriptions? And this is what affects me a lot. Other people will say.
I was just going to go there. Great minds
Yes.
think alike. Because I was like, why are you worried about what other people? Because if you heard what Terry Ann said, what'd you say when you said what your why was for all these great things that you're doing between now and the end of the year? You said, so I will feel. What did you say?
I don't remember. I've got to do the replay. Probably so I will feel peace and comfort within myself. Probably. I'm sure I use different words.
I will feel that I am moving forward in my life.
That was the word.
Like that.
Yes.
But you never said, I want Sherry to stop talking bad about me, which Sherry would not talk bad about Terry Ann. But my point is, you didn't say, I want to keep up with the Joneses next doors. I don't want those Joneses to be talking about me. You didn't even say that. But why in our mindset, like Pam's talking about, do we do that to ourselves?
Mm-hmm. We do.
We're just like, oh my gosh, now so-and-so is just going to think I'm not, or everybody is talking about me. Oh my gosh, you know what? You are not that important. Everybody is not talking
They're
about
not.
you.
Wait a minute. What do you mean everybody's not talking about me? I could have sworn I was just on the top of everyone's list. I'm not. Oh. Okay.
I failed miserably last week when we went live, which Terry Ann and I've had some glitches, but I gotta admit, last week was horrid because you couldn't see me and half the time you couldn't hear me. And I find out that my phone wasn't set up right or whatever the problem was. And Terry Ann kept going, Sherry, you're worrying more about, what did you say, the technology problem than you are the message. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm cutting out and in and out of the message. And Terry Ann's just like, what in the world, Sherry? But the problem was, it was a huge failure, right? And I'm like, well, we're going to look like we don't. Well, wait a minute. We're going to look like we're regular people. I'm the one that unfortunately couldn't be seen. I don't know how much I could be heard. But, ultimately, right, we're going to look like we're normal people with technology challenges at a time. Plus, I spent the week learning more about what are these technology challenges? What's going on? And then I figured out some things I need to fix in my phone. So I was like, okay, so I need to fix these. And so if you start changing your mindset, but Terry Ann will tell you, I was freaking out. I was like, this is not working. This is not okay. And I don't think I get too type A personality at times, but anybody's going to get that way, right? But it's what you choose to do about it to get out of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's learning from your failures, right? Even if they are uncomfortable, annoying. I don't know. What are the words, right? Again, if you start writing those all down, you're just going to start saying, nobody really cares if they see me on technology. I just think that people care to see me. Come on, nobody cares if they care if they got the message. They don't care if it was from you, somebody else. I mean, it's not saying they don't care, but they don't. So sometimes we make it a bigger deal than what it really is. Right. If that makes sense.
Right. So what are some things then that stop you from moving forward so that you become that hamster in the wheel? Are there some specifics on you? I mean, we talked about fear, talked about, what will other people say?
And I talked about my big challenge, my big two things that I'm trying to get done, right? My book, trying to, I am getting done my book. And I even have worried that, I think I worked on it on and off for 14 months. And then last July, I just got mad and it will be done by the end of the year because I even ended up with friends that were like, Sherry, you got more done than you think you get done. And then, I even brought Pam over to my house. We put our stuff together. She was like, look at how much you have done. You just need to organize it. And so sometimes when you get overwhelmed or you feel you're not moving forward, right? And I've just
Right.
chose not to let fear, right, with getting my book done. It is scary because there could be, what is it called? It might not be in exactly the way you want it to be by the time the project's done, right? So that would be a fear
Right.
in that. And a fear with trying to get healthy and lose weight like I'm doing is, like I said, I don't like brownies, but right? Does that mean I can't have any chips and salsa and margaritas, or I can't have, nobody's going to take my coffee away because I'll kill them. No, I'm just joking. But I'm saying what you worry about, what limitations, like when I never like to use the word budget when I help people put their spending plan together, because it's not a budget, but people freak out that means there's going to restrict you.
Right.
So I think when you're trying to lose weight, people think that's going to restrict you. But what if you did 80-20? Right? And then when you're writing a book, they think it has to be perfect, but done beats perfect every time.
Right.
Right? Done will beat perfect every time. You can always do a second edition if you need to. I'm not saying put crap out there. Oh, look, you found this. You must have Googled it.
False emotions appearing real.
Yeah, you must have.
How often do we do that to ourselves? Do you ever have a conversation and have a fight with someone in your head? That person's not even here. I do this, my husband will say something. Several days later, all of a sudden, I take what he said and I start a battle with him in my head. I determine what it is he's saying and I argue back with him. And I get mad because of this conversation that isn't even real. I made the whole thing up in my head. Do you ever do that? Oh, please tell me I'm not the only one.
You're the only one in the whole world that ever does that. I think you're a little crazy. You might want to go to the psychic ward. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, isn't that funny? No matter how much we work on mindset, like my whole chapter 1 in my book is on mindset. No matter, even you're a mindset coach. I'm a work-life balance coach, which of course is mindset too, but you go really deep into mindset, right? When you're coaching with people to defeat those lies. But even as coaches that work with people with mindset, of course your mindset will get in the way of, right? My book, I'll just be honest, I keep telling myself, who am I to write a book? Who am I, right? Well, who are you not to not do that? And the funny thing, when you just talked about your husband said something and it gets taken all out of, that's too funny, because that's actually sort of what was going on Sunday with my husband and I. And I was like, this is called miscommunication. And then so finally, I don't know, maybe it was Monday or Sunday night, I was telling Kevin, look, this is us. This is not how it is. Whatever was misunderstood is not what really happened. But all you have to do is get that one little negative comment. And if a friend said something to you, then you can freak out over that. And sometimes we just need to go to that person and say, did you mean? And then the person's like, what are you even talking about? Well, remember when you said, well, I don't think that's exactly what I said, but if I did, this is what I meant. I don't understand. And so a lot of times we play those negative, like you said, arguments on ourselves. And we're going, oh my gosh, Sherry is just way too pushy because she said, and it was like, Sherry was never being pushy. It was the way that person perceived it. Or they could do that with you, Terry Ann. They could be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Terry Ann said I looked fat in this dress. Terry Ann never said that. Terry Ann said, I like that dress a little better than this dress, but she never said.
Yeah.
But we'll do that to ourselves.
How often do we take that conversation in our mind that did not happen and use that as a reason not to move forward? How often do we use that conversation to stop us?
Well, and you were talking about a spouse, right? So like a best friend, a spouse, or even anyone. Me, right? I know for a fact I love being a mom, but it's not what my kids think matter, but it is what my kids think matter at times, right?
Right.
But as a leader and as a mom, sometimes I have to let some of that go, but then other times I'm going, what does that mean? That I'm just not a good mom because this kid, right? So that will hold you back from being the better version. I talk about that a lot in my book too, right? becoming the better version of yourself, because you're so worried that I don't know. We have this person coming in to do headshots, and he's really good. And so I was speaking with a fellow business person, and they go, but I hate my hair, so I can't get headshots. I said, so go to your hairdresser. And she's like, I don't have a hairdresser, so find a hairdresser. But I think your hair looks fine. So some other girls were around, and women do this a lot, right? And they're going, isn't that funny that we're going to say something silly like, I don't like my hair. I have bad news. Every time I go live here, my hair almost looks the same, Terry Ann. And it's not always done by my hairdresser. Oh, wait, 99.9% of the time it is not. So these other pictures that you have, your hair looked the same. But all of a sudden you hear the word headshot. I don't like my hair. I don't like my nose. I don't even know. But it's what other people perceive of you, right? I mean, it's not what other people perceive, but it's what you perceive of yourself. So you think other people are perceiving that.
Right. That's putting your emotions on someone else. And the big thing in all of this is in moving forward, getting the headshot. Okay. If it takes getting your hair done, go get your hair done. But the thing is, it's all take one step at a time. I need to lose weight. Do I have to make this major change right now, my entire lifestyle, or can I change one thing? Now, okay, I've upped my water. Hey, I'm doing really good now. I've upped my water a lot. Let me keep this habit. Now let me add this habit. I'm going to cut back on the creamer. Cut my creamer in half this time. I'm not going to give up creamer. What if I just cut it back slowly? So you can do this all. We get so scared of, I want to be here at this destination. If I plan to go to Disney World, I'm not just going to say I want to go to Disney World and I'm going to teleport over there. I've got to make plans. I've got to do steps one step at a time.
So you're going to Disney World? When are you taking me? I want to. I got to go see the movie. Come on.
I've got a secret rendezvous with Mickey I didn't want to tell you about. But that's the thing. It's one step at a time, 1 mile at a time. So don't hold yourself back because the destination looks so big. One step at a time, and you will get there. But the thing is, you have to take that first step. If you don't get in the car and start driving forward, you're never going to get to Disney World. So, Sherry, sitting here in this chair, you're not going to get there.
You do. So if you have that path, that's awesome. But what did we just talk about? Those awful arguments that we have in our mind against ourselves. And my challenge for you this week, or even today, is to, I always tell people, pay attention to what you're telling yourself, how you talk to yourself. Write it down. And then we could test it against scripture or reality, right? And see if it's any true, because it was too funny. I called, my husband has a friend, his name's Mr. Mumble. And Mr. Mumble never talks nice to my husband. And so this person was cracking up that I named the character Mr. Mumble. Well, what's your character? Maybe it's Mr. Mumble or Mr. Annoying, but if you name your character, right, that character is not being nice and it's not true. And whatever it's saying, is it bringing you closer to where you want to go or further? Is it ruining the relationship with that family member, friend, or is it making it better? So sometimes we need to write those down and then see, is that really true? Okay, so do I need to pick up on the phone and see, did Terry Ann really mean that? Do I need to go talk to Kevin and see, does he, right? Or do you need to talk to Reed? Or do you need to call me? Or who do you need to, right? Or did you just write that down and you thought that was the stupidest thing ever? But until you write it down,
right?
Again, I call those brain dumps. Sometimes you just got to get that goop out of your head.
Out of your head.
And then, like you said, go take action to make those things go. I'm really, really excited because next week or next month is actually October and we're going into the fourth quarter. So when we're going into the fourth quarter, we're going to start talking about goal setting and getting ready for the next quarter. So we will see you next Wednesday at 9:30 Central Time. And you can follow both of us on YouTube to go back and watch any of these replays. They're also on Conversation with Sherry and Terry Ann. And then they're on multiple other platforms between Terry Ann and I. And so be sure to come and watch this. And if you do watch this, if you could do, what is it, pound replay?
Yes.
That
start
would be
start
very
with the word replay and put your comments in. You weren't here live, that's okay. Type the word replay and throw your comments in.
Because that's very helpful for Kevin, not Kevin, Terry Ann and I. It's really helpful for Terry Ann and I. Kevin's my husband, in case anybody wants to know. Terry Ann and I, though, that's very helpful for us as we're moving forward. And we look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. Go make it a great day. Bye, guys.
Bye.